Tonight on NewsVision, heavy rains on campus have damaged one of the dorms, causing a massive overhang to collapse. We'll bring you all the details. Plus, after many public universities were forced to roll back DEI programs because of the recent state legislation changes, one Florida professor is taking DEI education into his own hands.
We will resist efforts to ban books. We will resist efforts to ban ideas. This tree will be one place where we'll fight.
And later on, Miami Climate Week brought out thousands of activists and events. We will bring you some of the community initiatives. All this and a lot more on tonight's show, and it starts right now. Good evening and welcome to NewsVision. I'm Gavin Bishow.
And I'm Kayla Butter. Thank you for joining us. The University of Miami community was startled by the news of a roof collapse outside the Mahoney-Pearson Residential College on campus over the weekend.
For a closer look, Alejandra Morales is live on the scene. Alejandra, how did this happen?
Guys, it was heavy rainfall and thunderstorms that moved through the area on Sunday that caused the outdoor patio area roof of the Pearson side of the building behind me to collapse. That happened around 6 p.m. on Sunday. Nobody was injured, and University Facilities Operations, Housing and Residential Life, UMPD, and the Coral Gables Fire Department responded immediately. The affected area was roped off, and students were directed to use other entrances. The Mahoney-Pearson dorms were built in 1958 and host about 700 students. On Monday, the university announced that all debris related to the incident was completely removed, and all entrances to the Mahoney-Pearson community have been reopened. Structural engineers are assessing the safety and stability of the patio area since the collapse and provided reassurance that there are no safety concerns for the building or the patio. Reporting live for UMTV, I'm Alejandra Morales.
Thank you, Alejandra. And Florida is one of several states that have implemented anti-DEI measures on college campuses, but at Florida International University, one longtime professor says he will not back down. At the ripe age of 85, Dr. Marvin Dunn from Florida International University in Miami has taken to social media to introduce a new storytelling class that's focused on DEI despite the state's current efforts to ban diversity, equity, and inclusion on college campuses.
I don't have to ask the state for permission to express my views. I'm a grown man. I'm an American citizen. The only restraint upon my speech that I respect is civility. So I will not be told what I can and cannot say short of civility on a university campus.
Dr. Dunn held his first class not in one of the classrooms on campus, but under a tree that he is calling the Black Learning Tree on April 1st.
I picked this tree because it's a young tree. It'll be here for a while. This tree should live 400 or 500 years. So we picked this tree for that reason. And it's close to the seat of knowledge, the library.
The tree itself was blessed by both a local pastor and a local rabbi.
May we open up our hearts to different perspectives, to learn from each other and to share the stories that lead us towards justice, equality, and understanding.
Dr. Dunn is well known within the local community, not just for his vast knowledge of various topics, but also for his military experience and his 30-plus years of teaching at FIU.
Every time I hear him, I've heard the story a million times, and I have the same feeling every time. I get chicken skin, I get goosebumps. A lot of the stories that he tells us, you can't find in any sort of books or anything like that, and now it's being forbidden in the classrooms.
We will resist efforts to ban books. We will resist efforts to ban ideas, and this tree will be one place where we'll fight the anti-DEI movement in Florida.
Now, UMTV reached out to the FIU administration to see if the university will take any action against Dunn in his new class, but we haven't received a response yet. Dr. Dunn will say his class will continue to teach every Wednesday through the summer.
This is Coast to Coast, bringing you news from across the United States. I'm Shay McDonald.
And I'm Ariel Wild.
A series of special elections this week were held to fill key spots in both Florida and Wisconsin. In Florida, 2 new House representatives, and in Wisconsin, a state Supreme Court judge. Florida voters took to the polls to fill the 2 vacant representative seats left after Matt Gaetz and Mike Waltz were nominated for cabinet positions. Both seats were taken by Republicans, keeping Florida to lean red.
Thank you to President Trump. You know, this guy won an amazing race back in November because the country was sick and tired and fed up with the last 4 years. Yes, so CD1 is where the hopes and dreams of the Democratic Party come to die.
The 2 districts voted overwhelmingly Republican back in November, but this week those margins were significantly narrower. District 6's runner-up Democrat Josh Weil said that gives him hope for the 2026 midterms.
The amount of response and votes that we were able to generate in a very short, accelerated campaign period shows the promise of running on these progressive platforms.
Wisconsin also held an election, this one to fill a spot in the state Supreme Court, and Democrat Susan Crawford won despite a large amount of support by billionaire and head of Doge Elon Musk. Musk reportedly spent $25 million on the Republican candidate Judge Brad Schimmel, but voters backed Crawford.
We have made sure to remind voters that their fundamental rights are at stake in this election and that very important cases get decided by the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Things involving the fairness of our elections, the right of women to make their own decisions about their health care, the rights of everybody to make their own personal decisions.
And efforts by Musk and Trump to downsize the government continue.
In an attempt to overhaul the Department of Health and Human Services under RFK Jr., more than 10,000 HHS employees have been laid off.
And another 10,000 will either enter early retirement or take voluntary separation offers.
Oh, it's miserable. It's been awful. It's been awful for weeks. Just this threat, this lingering cruelty of you're going to be let go today. It's just so sad. And I'm so sad as not only a federal worker, but as an American. I mean, just to no heart. There's just no sense to it.
The personnel cuts have especially affected the Centers for Disease Control and the Food and Drug Administration, which are 2 agencies that RFK says he is planning on overhauling completely.
Democratic Senator Cory Booker gave a record-breaking 25-hour-long speech from the Senate floor in which he condemned the Trump administration for undermining democracy and American values.
Booker shattered the longest given Senate speech from 68 years ago given by Strom Thurmond. He spoke on behalf of the Democratic Party to showcase their frustration with the current administration and their attempts to contest Trump's agenda.
I don't know how to solve this. I don't know how to stop us from going down this road. Chuck Schumer's now told me that they're greasing the skids to do these things. I'm sorry. But I know who does have the power. The people of the United States of America.
Booker criticized cuts to government agencies and warned of potential broader cuts to the social safety net. He also read letters from constituents expressing concerns about the president's talk of annexing Greenland and Canada.
And Senator Booker also talked about the controversial tariffs that Trump is implementing on other countries, which the president took to a whole new level yesterday.
25% tariffs on vehicles shipped to the U.S. start today, with duties on parts set to begin by May 3rd. After weeks of lead up to that news, it might seem less groundbreaking now. That's after Trump imposed jaw-dropping, history-making new tariffs yesterday. President Trump is imposing a 10% tariff on imports from all countries, plus higher rates for Cambodia, Vietnam, China, the European Union, and more. Here are 5 ways experts say Americans might feel the impact. 1. Higher prices.
It's thousands of dollars. We're talking at least 2% of the median household income that this will cost American households.
Most economists predict U.S. businesses that pay the tariffs will pass on some or all of the cost to consumers. The Trump administration downplays that.
The businesses don't have to pass them on, or the producers in the other countries can eat the tariffs.
2. An economic slowdown.
What you're seeing here is a potential haircut to GDP for 2025 of about 3%.
JP Morgan predicts a global recession if Trump maintains his tariffs. Economists say a 1930 trade war deepened the Great Depression.
We know what happened in 1929, 1930 in the crash.
Trump supporters note other countries don't have to retaliate.
They're going to bring their tariffs down because they need the U.S. to be active trading partners.
3. Blows to retirement funds if the stock market doesn't fully rebound. 4. High interest rates if the Federal Reserve sees too much inflation. And 5. Growth for some domestic manufacturers. Economists say they're the biggest winner under Trump's tariffs.
We have to save the people in the industries of the United States.
Trump supporters might see a sixth item on that list, especially if they're passionate about reducing trade deficits. Many say they wanted him to change the world. Trump and most analysts agree that wish is granted.
In a surprising decision, a 51-48 vote, the Senate passed a resolution to rescind Trump's tariffs on Canada. 4 Republicans, including Mitch McConnell, flipped, going against Trump's agenda. That's all for this week. Come back next week for more Coast to Coast.
Thank you, Ariel and Shay. Still to come, 100 years of excellence. We'll show you how the University of Miami is preparing to celebrate its centennial birthday. That and a whole lot more just ahead.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
On April 8th, the University of Miami will celebrate its 100-year anniversary with a centennial celebration on the Coral Gables campus. The theme for the festivities is The Future Is You, and they will feature a carnival on the Foot Green, a block party with free food stations around the Shalala Student Center complex, a concert featuring generations of Frost Music School alumni, and a fireworks show over Lake Osceola. Anyone can attend for free, but they must register first at 100.miami.edu.
Tonight, the Centennial Dining Hall on campus will host the annual Iron Chef competition for the first time since the removal of the Hex Stanford Kitchen in the summer of 2024. The competition is hosted by the Teaching Kitchen, which is an organization designed to teach students to cook, and the chefs ensure the students have a great time in the kitchen.
We've done things from lobster, filet mignon, scallops, prawns, to a slew of other ingredients. It's also part of meeting people, getting together, having friends over, being able to share a good time.
While the chefs typically take control of the kitchen, this competition allows students to lead the culinary process, meaning they can make whatever they want to secure the first ever victory in the Centennial Dining Hall.
The Miami Film Festival is underway now through April 13th, screening more than 200 films by filmmakers from around the world. Max Keller is live at the Coral Gables Art Cinema, where several screenings will be held throughout the festival, and he joins us now. Max, what events are on the schedule?
Gavin, get your popcorn ready because the Miami Film Festival is underway. The 10-day event shines a light on important films and while showing influential speakers from the industry. Miami-Dade College plays a major part in the administration that works on putting together a showcase of over 100 films from 42 different countries. Tomorrow night, the Coral Gables Art Cinema behind me will showcase 2 films, Trifle and Zoe. While Miami has been hosting its film festival for the past 42 years, about 55% of school districts from across the nation have been making major cuts to their arts programs. The popularity of streaming services has also caused a major dip in the number of people coming to theaters for movie releases. And that's why Miami Film Festival is making a major effort to show Miami's diverse population the magic of film while incentivizing MDC students with free tickets. Live for UMTV, I'm Max Keller.
Thank you, Max. For the past week, environmental organizations across South Florida have been gearing up for Earth Month as a part of Miami Climate Week. One of those organizations, called Patch of Heaven Sanctuary, takes a new approach to engage the community in sustainability. I had the opportunity to volunteer with Patch to see what they were all about. Crystal Workman has volunteered with environmental organizations across South Florida, but none have brought out her love for nature quite as much as Patch of Heaven Sanctuary has.
It's hard to explain how you come in, you feel your muscles, and then when you leave, you feel like jelly.
Patch of Heaven Sanctuary is a nonprofit environmental organization in Cutler Bay that is located on 20 acres of a 123-year-old restored forest. It prides itself on being one of the only places in the world that teaches nature-based mindfulness, or being fully present in nature.
We teach people how to pause, as in slow down,
and also PAWS, which is pay attention with your senses.
And volunteers like workmen who visit Patch regularly say that what they learned at Patch helps.
You just feel that all that oxygen and everything in the air just does something to you special.
Patch hosts regular events where participants can garden, learn mindfulness techniques, and spend the day in nature.
Here at Patch of Heaven Sanctuary, getting your hands in the dirt is one way to practice nature-based mindfulness to reconnect human nature with Mother Nature. And in the process, we're also helping the environment just in time for Earth Month.
Earth Month runs throughout the month of April, and leading up to it, Miami Climate 365 partnered with environmental organizations like Patch to teach community members about sustainability.
It's not that they don't care about their environment, it's that they don't know what to do.
The theme for this year's Earth Month is Our Power, Our Planet, which is why organizers like Guerrero are focusing on giving community members information that can help them make a difference.
It's important to bring awareness and knowledge and tools and resources to people, even if it's just 1 month out of the year.
Something Jewel also tries to work on daily at Patch.
We need to take care of Mother Nature because it will take care of our human nature. And Miami Climate Week is one of the steps to being able to do that.
Last week marked the first ever Miami Climate Week, and Miami Climate 365 will be hosting climate events throughout the month in preparation for Earth Day on April 22nd.
And as part of a Miami Climate Week, the University of Miami's Greek life organizations, including most of the fraternities and sororities, competed to be the most environmental. Ann Badowski has more.
Parker Ost is a University of Miami junior and is a member of Greek life. And like many sorority sisters and fraternity brothers, Parker is concerned with the large environmental footprint of Greek life.
We produce a lot of trash, probably more trash than any other organization.
That's why Parker was part of the first recycling competition among dozens of Greek letter organizations that was hosted during the last week of March by the University of Miami's Association of Greek Letter Organizations, or AGLO, and UM's Office of Sustainability.
I can only recycle so much. I'm a single person, but like a group of 10, 20 people, they can bring whole bags. It helps a lot.
As part of the competition, sororities and fraternities turned in their empty plastic water bottles and aluminum cans, which were then counted by a special vending machine in the food court.
So that machine is something we installed 2 years ago, and the idea is every time you put like a clean plastic bottle or a clean aluminum can in there, it's going to crush it, send it to a company that is going to be recycling it.
The machine determined the winner of the competition with the most recycled cans and bottles was the Interfraternity Council.
Go Green U, land the Kaizen to win it.
And while Miami's Climate Week may be over, event organizers hope not only Greek life members, but the entire student body will rethink their waste habits.
I feel like I've seen over the past 4 years that there is room to improve, especially within Greek life. So if we can get those students engaged with sustainability, I think we can make great changes on this campus.
With UMTV, I'm Ann Badowski.
Pinewood Cemetery is one of the most overlooked public spaces in Coral Gables, and despite its rich history, the space is overrun with invasive and unwelcome plants, making the cemetery difficult to navigate. But volunteers from an organization called Keep Coral Gables Beautiful are doing their best to remove the invasive plants and preserve the integrity of the historic spot.
Volunteering is something that I do not just today, but I serve on this cemetery's advisory board for the city of Coral Gables. I'm also on the board of the Genealogical Society of Greater Miami, so cemeteries have a special place in genealogists' heart.
The Pinewood Cemetery is where many of the pioneers who built the city of Coral Gables are buried. Lori says that although we don't know the identities of many of those pioneers buried here, it's important to make sure that the cemetery where they rest is clean and beautiful.
Next up, Ann Badowski has your weather outlook for the week. Ann?
Yeah, looking at some rainfall that we're experiencing right now, we can see a little bit of leftovers from that severe weather as it pushes up towards the northeast. Some thunderstorms still sticking around as well, but let's take a look at some severe weather that we are experiencing in the Midwest and Ohio Valley region yesterday. You can see those widespread wind reports as well as some hail reports as well. Some areas were even getting up to golf ball sized hail. So definitely some incredible severe weather that we are having yesterday. You can see that those tornado reports are up to 35 right now. We won't know the scale of those tornadoes for a little bit because tornadoes are ranked based on the damage that they have done. So it'll take a little bit for those sorts of statistics to come in, but as for our total reports, almost 700 total storm reports for our severe weather yesterday, and this area is just not going to catch a break either. You can see right around Little Rock, very similar area to yesterday. You can see how widespread that severe weather is for that enhanced risk as well. As we head into tomorrow, it'll up a little bit to that moderate risk. This area definitely has some chances to see tornadoes yet again. So if you're in this area, make sure you're staying prepared for that damage as we head through the rest of the week. You can see on day 3, very similar area with that severe weather as well. But what about us here in Florida? You can see after that severe weather has passed through a little bit to the north of us, we're going to be having some rainfall on Tuesday, and that'll head into Wednesday as well. Thunderstorms, a little bit scattered showers as we head through that as well. But as for our 7-day, the weekend is pretty beautiful. If you're looking to get out, it's definitely some enjoyable weather, but you can see that weather coming in on Tuesday and Wednesday with those rain and thunder reports. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Ann. And as we head into the warmer months, local beaches are getting busier, and the National Weather Service is warning of a high risk for strong rip currents along South Florida's coastline through Saturday. Swimmers could be pulled away from shore quickly, especially along Atlantic-facing beaches. The advisory urges people to check local beach conditions, avoid swimming in unguarded areas, and looking out for warning flags. The rip current risk is expected to remain high throughout the weekend.
Severe storms have triggered a major weather emergency across the central U.S., and with multiple states damaged by deadly tornadoes and severe flooding. Here's Lauren Harrington with more.
A deadly outbreak of severe weather has torn through the central United States, leaving at least 6 people dead and widespread destruction across multiple states.
I've never been in the middle of it like this and seen the horror of it. I'm sorry for a lot of people that's lost a lot of their livelihood and their dreams here. It's quite a loss.
Tornadoes and strong storms have caused significant damage, with homes flattened, buildings destroyed, and power outages for hundreds of thousands. The fatalities include 5 in Tennessee and 1 in Missouri.
A miracle to have survived it.
This resident in Selmer, Tennessee says he survived by jumping in his bathtub.
5 seconds from that point, before I could just hear my house ripping apart.
The storms have also led to dangerous flooding concerns. The National Weather Service is warning of a life-threatening and potentially historic flash flood event across the lower Ohio Valley and the Mid-South. This flooding threat is being driven by a weather system that is carrying tropical moisture from the Caribbean, bringing several inches of rain to already saturated areas. Storms are expected to continue impacting parts of Arkansas, Tennessee, and Mississippi throughout the weekend. Damaging winds, more tornadoes, and torrential rain remain possible as well. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Lauren Harrington.
Time for another break, but when we come back, we'll review how Canes baseball stacked up against UNC. Plus, why all the eyes in the tennis world were pointed at Miami this week. Stay with us.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape.
Welcome to sports. I'm John Stanley. This past weekend, the Miami Hurricanes baseball team went up to Chapel Hill for an in-conference matchup against UNC. Let's take a look at how the Canes did on Sunday. Canes start off in a jam with the bases loaded. The ball's put up the middle, but Ogden makes a great diving save to grab it, and Cuvée stretches up to snag it and get the out and get out of the inning. UNC would score a run to take the lead early, however. At the plate now, Derek Williams will take this pitch up the middle for a base hit, keeping his hot streak alive, and he would make his way all the way around to third after he stole a base, which he would capitalize on later when UNC's catcher can't handle the breaking ball. He comes in to score a run to tie it up thanks to the wild pitch. After the first inning, Miami's pitching staff really found their groove. Siskar and Giroux struck out 4 batters and pitched a shutout up until the 9th inning. Giroux had his breaking ball dialed in all game. Moving to the 9th inning, Daniel Cuvée, he'll have the bases loaded and he'll get the job done. He lines one into left center and the outfield has trouble with it. They eventually get the ball in. Torres will score, and here comes Peralta around third. He slides in and he's safe. Miami takes the lead 4-2, and they would hold on to win it. But they would drop the series 2-1. The Miami Open wrapped up play this week, bringing an end to some exciting tennis action. Florida has hosted the major tournament since 1985, but for the first time in its 40-year history, a record more than 400,000 people attended. The matches were played at Hard Rock Stadium, and the grounds offered plenty of entertainment, music, great Miami food, and interactive events for fans. But the biggest story of the tournament was the final, which saw young Czech Republic underdog Jakub Mensik beat all-time great Novak Djokovic 2-1, denying Djokovic what would have been his 100th career title and record 7th Miami Open win. And as one sports tournament in Miami wraps up, another one begins. Local golf fans are gearing up for a tournament hosted by Live Golf that'll take place close to UM's campus. Live Golf is a professional golf league aiming to be an exciting, fast-paced party atmosphere compared to the traditional and old-school aspects of the PGA. The league was founded in 2021 with the motto, Golf, but louder. This weekend's tournament will take place in Doral at Trump National Golf Course and will feature some of the biggest stars in golf, such as Bryson DeChambeau, Phil Mickelson, and Jon Rahm. Moving on to college sports, the NCAA tournament has reached its biggest stage, the Final Four. For only the second time ever in the tournament's history, the 4 #1 seeds all survived their regions and made it to the Final Four, setting up a dramatic showdown between the best squads in college basketball. On one side of the bracket, SEC rivals Auburn and Florida will battle it out, and on the other side, Duke and Houston will face off. Florida and Duke are no strangers to national championships, as they both won multiple titles in the last 20 years alone. Auburn and Houston, however, are chasing their first national championships in school history. The Final Four will take place in San Antonio, and as of now, the Duke Blue Devils are leading favorites to win it all. Hurricanes track and field is coming off a strong indoor season, breaking records and sending 3 athletes to nationals. Ready, set, and going to Gainesville for the Florida Pepsi Relays. With the outdoor season in full swing, Shea McDonald got a chance to see how this team is taking off.
University of Miami senior track athlete Solomon Strotter has had an interesting career, all over the top 5 for the men's record books, but he's only recently started to feel like this team is hitting its stride.
It's kind of weird. I mean, we were pretty bad the first 3 years that I was here, so it's weird seeing my name on all those relays, and we consider that to be the bottom barrel, and now we've run so fast that we've kind of pushed those times back.
During the indoor season, the team showed how much better they've gotten, breaking 10 records between the men and the women and sending 3 representatives to nationals. Strotter himself broke a 27-year-old record in the 400. Senior Edgar Camper continued to improve in the pentathlon, breaking his record, and junior Gabriella Grissom set the 800-meter record in February, only to break it again at the ACC Championships.
Everything kind of came together when it counted most, which was ACC Championships, and it allowed me to score and qualify for indoor natties, but overall, I'm just really grateful. I feel like I learned a lot about myself and to trust my training and stuff like that. So I'm just glad about how everything turned out.
Now, as the team transitions into the outdoor year, the group feels confident that the arrow will only continue to point upwards.
I think that our team is capable of doing crazy things like in ACC and NCAA. They just need to believe that they are capable of doing their thing.
And although both Strotter and Camprey will soon graduate and leave the U, they feel the program is in good hands with a strong coaching staff led by Miami legend Amy Dean.
Coach Dean, coaching for 30 years, All-Americans, Olympians. He's one of the best coaches in the country. And same for Coach Bloom, who's Edgar's coach. Just got here and was able to take Edgar to nationals. So we have an amazing staff. And to see that people want to come to Miami now to run track is definitely a good feeling.
For UMTV, Shea McDonald.
We'll see if the Canes can take this momentum they had from their great indoor season and translate it to this upcoming outdoor season.
We'll have to see. Hurricanes led by, obviously, Amy Dean, we saw in that story. Just a legend for the Hurricanes. 35 years in the service doing it and leading the Canes, so I'm sure they'll have no worries this upcoming season. And that's all the time that we have for today's program. Thank you for joining us.
We'll be back this same time next week. Have a good night.
All right, there we go. How about that?